sure our hair all looks good, good stuff. We should be good to go. And all right. Hey, welcome everybody. This is Jacob Davis. I'm here with Marek and Wojciech, and we're with X Plus and Executive Automats team. And today we're here to talk about testing, and particularly with what we focus on is how to automate testing and make it a lot easier for folks out there to test their Dynamics 365 environments. And so this webinar is actually a series, and this will be a masterclass where we're going to talk about, best practices and really some practical stuff on how to not just test and do regression testing, but also to incorporate automation and various tools that can help you with automation throughout your testing process. So that's what we're here for today. Marek, just say hi so people can hear your voice.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, and Wojtek, same for you.
Hello.
Yeah, make sure we can hear you. I've got you there. Perfect. And all right, so I've got the presentation here. So Masterclass today, regression testing in Dynamics 365 with Executive Automats and for testing as well as for discovery. So let's hop into it. First thing we want to do is we have a little survey available to you where we can get to know each other a little bit. You can check in the comments. You can find the survey, and it'll ask you what your role is with the company and also what your most challenging what's your biggest challenge when it comes to testing your Dynamics environment. So that'll be available again throughout the entire webinar. So feel free to fill that out and let us know, because we're looking forward to hear back from everybody. I know we've got people from around the world joining us today, so looking forward to finding out a little bit more about everybody who's interested in the same topics that we're interested in. All right, so we've got the agenda here. Of course, we're going to go through and touch on all of these points, but one of the biggest things that we're going to talk about today is regression testing for Dynamics 365, Marek, and not just how to actually do it, but what's important to consider whenever you're putting together a test plan. Yeah. And so you're going to share a lot about that with us as well. So all right, let's hop into it. Today, rethinking regression is necessary for everybody who's been in the Dynamics world for quite a while now. Testing has evolved over time along with the environment. The Dynamics 365 or Dynamics world, of course, has been evolving. And so you really need to rethink regression testing nowadays. And Marek and Wojtek will help us discover some new things that we can use to make sure that our environments are working as they need to be. So Marek, let's jump right in here.
I'll start maybe with some a little bit theory. Probably everyone knows what is regression testing, but I'll just quickly remind you this is about of testing the modified parts of the system that might get affected with each update or things like that.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that our system and setup is correctly after every upgrade. So usually in Dynamics, in particular, we focusing on user acceptance tests. Yeah. So we not only trying to fetch some bugs, but we need to check like our setup settings, user roles, and things like that. Yeah. So yeah.
Perfect. Previously, testing, as I mentioned before, things have evolved. What did regression testing look like previously, and how does it look now? And what are some of the, because it's not just, regression testing, there's many parts that go into it. So maybe describe a little bit about some of the parts and the process of the overall testing program. I believe you mentioned something like smoke testing, sanity testing.
So when we talking about which processes are suitable for regression, pretty much, we're going to start. So basically, I said like user acceptance test, which includes pretty much sanity testing, smoke testing, which is like smoke test is pretty much testing essential functionalities in our system. However, sanity testing is just that we need to verify that specific function or bug fixes works correctly after changes in the software. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
So it ensures the software is stable enough for deeper testing. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And so let's talk a little bit more about those. So there's smoke testing, sanity testing. Those are kind of small parts that are involved in something that is
which is bigger. Yeah, obviously, I said that they are mixed quite often together, but but they can be just a part of bigger end-to-end process. Yeah. So this is just a bit of theory and examples. Yeah, what types of tests can be included in regression, but overall, like I said previously, user acceptance tests includes that. Yeah, so like I said, we need to check the setup as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so I think one of the biggest things that people want to think about are like which processes in dynamics, user acceptance tests, not just finding the bugs, checking any modifications that may have been made or anything that is new. Which processes would you say are suitable whenever you're doing regression testing? I guess is a good place to start.
And also, who's responsible for that as well?
Yes, yeah. That's probably the biggest point. Actually.
So usually we have the people which are called SME, which is
subject matter experts.
So basically process experts. Yeah. They are pretty much responsible to pick up critical processes for the organization in the business. So those people might be also consultants as well, because usually consultants are particularly devoted for some modules. Yeah. So we need them their knowledge to pretty much pick up those processes, crucial processes for regression.
Yeah. So you have to rely on these process experts, subject matter experts, however you want to call them.
Yeah. You can imagine it. So there's like pretty much a group of people. Yeah. So we need their knowledge and their time.
Yeah.
So that's a cost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's definitely something we'll talk about. And we'll bring Wojtek in to talk about that here very shortly, how you can kind of minimize that time needed from these people, taking them away from their normal daily tasks. He'll be able to talk a little bit more about that. So, Marek, we've been working on this for a long time, actually, both of us together. It's not just which processes are suitable, and it's not just having your team together and the people organized in to do it. From our experience, there is an overall organization that needs to be done when it comes to testing. And so one of the main things that we need to think about is the cadence or the schedule that we're testing on. And of course, Microsoft has their one version that they do. And that means there is a regular schedule in which releases for updates are done. Yeah. And so when this schedule happens and we've organized our testing around this overall schedule, software updates, where do we go from there? So we know when we're testing, we figured out maybe the team that's going to be involved and who is doing the testing, and then also what processes need to be tested. So let's move on from that aspect. We've kind of got the idea of things down. What types of tests are suitable for regression testing, and how do we move forward from there?
Maybe Wojtek could tell us actually about a bit about how we can reduce that devotion of the SME while picking up the right processes.
Yeah, and Wojtek, I'll share your screen here so that way everybody can see this. We can talk about how we can identify what should be tested. Marek has mentioned that critical tests or critical processes absolutely need to be tested, but how do we know, besides like trying to talk to every single process expert about what is needed? How can we find out, what's most used? What is actually happening in the environment? Maybe I'll share your screen here, and you can show us a little bit about how we've done that and talk us through it a little bit.
Of course, thank you. I would like to show you Executive Automates for Discovery application. This application solves real problems of our customers, especially when you use it with Executive Automates for testing. That gives you unique synergy value in the matter of regression testing. So let's dive into the matter. We have two problems that clients are struggling with. So lack of time of SMEs, like Mike said, and key users often dislike learning how to use new applications when it comes to scripts recording. So with EA4 Discovery, you don't need these SMEs or users, because our application stores all the activities that users are doing, qualifies them into business patterns defined by Microsoft in Business Process Catalog. These patterns are basically test script proposals that you can use in your regression test plan. So you can see here our application. Here we can see all the business patterns that are most frequently used in your system. With that, pointing the key business patterns for regression tests is as easy as it looks. You can easily select all the critical business patterns based on how often users execute them. So let's pick, for example, create and process free text invoices. We can see here that there is 12 executions on our test environment. And here you can see all the variants of this business pattern. We can just mark one of them and see all the steps that were taken by a user to perform this specific action. If you want to understand what the user was doing more precisely, you can just enter on our audit view, and you can just from here look on every step of the user and understand the business context and what he was doing in the system. So, of course, with that, you are able also to export that kind of sequential of steps called variant or execution to executive automates for testing. So to sum it up, synergy of EA4 Discovery and EA4 testing gives you a seamless solution that can exclude users from regression testing. So I hope that I answered the question.
And this is a way to passively track what is being done in the dynamic system. Yeah. Whereas alternatively, the way that it was happening in the past is you had to rely on your people. They would tell you or show your QA team what was happening. Yeah. And now with EA4 Discovery, you can actually just passively gather what is happening in the environment. And instead of needing like a meeting with several people, you can just say, hey, we've recorded this. This is what we've captured. Verify this. Is this correct? Does this look like it's good? Yeah. So quite a bit of reduction in need for SMEs in this situation. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Nice.
It looks good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I like this. So now we've gathered what is happening in the environment, and as you've shown, Wojtek, putting it into a situation where it can be exported into the testing tool, Executive Automats, and that would create scripts for test automation. So after this, what happens from there, Marek? What are we looking at? You have an understanding of what processes look like, and now we're moving on from that. So what's the next stage? How should we start to, let's say, build a test plan out of the information that we've gathered? Yeah.
So pretty much like it was till today, we usually pretty much similar to regression. Yeah, we need to have that people, that SMEs or that process experts, which will help us to basically point out those processes. Many people. Yeah.
Verify them. Yeah.
Yeah. So that needs to be this needs to be a critical process for organization. However, yeah, this is basically the start. Yeah. And with the picking up of the scenarios, we need to gather requirements for them. Yeah. So that might be a bit more details, which are environments or some test data as well, and more details about the process itself. So pretty much the list of these processes can be converted to high level scenarios. Yeah. Another step after that, when let's say we have like high level, pretty much plan or scope of our tests, and obviously you mentioned previously we need to know when we're supposed to test. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mentioned, the Microsoft One version has a very specific test schedule or release schedule that's coming out. And so building not just your schedule, but let's talk a little bit more once you have your schedule figured out. Let's continue on with that. We've picked out the processes, we've picked out the schedule. What do we need to do after that? Tell me a little bit.
Yeah.
Database, there's definitely...
we know that. Yeah, I mentioned pretty much about the database. We need to, when we're gathering the requirements, but that was the previous step. The next step will be, we need to start our cooperation with the QA people. Yeah. So we need to involve some testers to actually write proper test cases from that list of the processes. Yeah. So then we need to include the data preparation. And it's getting converted from the high level, I would say, test cases to maybe smaller chunks and more detailed, even some middle process,
more granular,
some prerequisites and things like this. Yeah, and obviously that needs to be everything needs to be documented in like Excel files, or it can be used in DevOps, Jira, like things like this. So basically, this is the right moment to decide about automation. Yeah. And with QA team you can actually plan to at least some or maybe like majority of these processes to automate them. Yeah.
Yeah, I know we have a good example later that we'll talk about.
I'll mention
a little bit. Yeah.
So yeah, and in that time, when we decide on automation, we can convert that test cases into the scripts. Yeah. So that will save a lot of time. Yeah, in case if we're gonna automate them. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that when we're converting these, you've already talked a little bit about this, Wojtek, but we're able to take a look at what the environment's doing passively using the EA for discovery.
Marek, I believe that we lost communication. You are muted.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's good there.
Can you guys repeat?
Yes. Just once we've actually used either SMEs, business process experts, or the EA for discovery tool to identify what should be tested. You mentioned previously that we would be taking it and this EA for discovery tool, and it can actually create and be exported into EA for testing, creating test scripts. Yeah. And so let's talk a little bit about not just how it can be used to do that actual physical thing, but how it can be used to improve the test plan. Maybe there's a little bit that you can show where EA for discovery can actually help identify what is in fact most important to test. Is that something that we can share with everybody today?
Of course.
Perfect. I'll share your screen then, and I think you might have an example for us.
Exactly. So as I was telling you earlier, the first thing we should consider is the amount of executions that took place in the matter of specific patterns. So this is the most important thing, because the process is, the business pattern is more crucial especially when it's executed a lot of times, because possibly the errors in that pattern can have a huge impact on your production environment. So if you want to point out which specific executions you should take to your test plan, you can just enter to a specific pattern, let's say create and process free text invoice. And in this place, you have two indicators that help you to qualify specific variant, specific execution to your test plan. So first of all, you have this runner status that is highlighted green, completed. It means that these executions will be easily executed in executive automats for testing. We are doing some tests inside our application that qualifies the best test scripts for you from every execution of the client. And the second thing that you should consider if you want to choose the most representative variant is the potential. This potential is very important because it says that this execution is a straight line from the start to the beginning. It has no errors. It has no repeating activities. So this is basically kind of happy path that you want to use in your test script plan. And with that execution, you can just take it to your test plan and export. Let's go through that process. So you can go to this execution, just mark this as a favorite one, and then simply you can create a test plan when you can add this all your favorite executions that you pointed for your regression plan. So now I'm filtering my executions by favorite mark. I've marked this create and process free text invoice specific execution variant of this pattern, and I add it to my test plan. Of course, you can approach to this in a different way. You can add whole pattern. So if you want to, let's say, focus on specific process, end-to-end process, business area name, business process name, you can just add the business patterns straight from this view. I will maybe say a little bit more about business process and business patterns because I believe that can be confusing. So Microsoft has brought us a business process catalog. As we can see in business process catalog, the business pattern is the smallest chunk of the business process. So, for example, create sales order manually is a business pattern that is a part of a business process called sell products to customers. And that is a part of the business area that is create and manage sales. And this is a part of the end-to-end process order to cash. This is something that Microsoft wants us to use. And I believe that it can be helpful. So with in the same manner, you can just add these patterns that you want to add to your test plan. So, for example, let's search for another one. Let's say create purchase order manually. Yeah. So here you can just add it, and with that, you will export 3 of the newest executions that have status completed. So I will also add this to my test plan. And with that, you can just export it to executive automats for testing. It's easy as it looks like. So you can see here on our executive automats for testing environment, and that will have it here in a matter of seconds. Yeah. So let's just refresh the. Yeah, we have here our regression test, and as you can see, these are the patterns that we selected, 1 from the execution and 3 from the pattern. You need to configure the virtual user for that. I have it prepared, so I will just use my previous test project. So with that, you can just enter the specific execution. You can here check that every step that you can see here is basically the step of the execution that we were talking at the beginning. And with that, you just push play, and you can just execute the test script on your Dynamics environment. So basically, putting some execution into a test plan in Executive Automats for testing is very easy when you have the Executive Automats for discovery. So to sum it up, discovery helps in building a test plan, but also can help in rollouts and creating autonomous agents in the future. And all thanks to the data that is collected and categorized in a unique way with the help of Azure OpenAI. And I will just push play here, and I believe the stage is yours, Mark.
Nice.
Looks like, yeah.
So, Marek, we'll continue on because I know you want to share your screen also and show a little bit more specifically about testing. But let's talk about kind of some common mistakes if we have a moment to talk about that. Yeah.
The few common mistakes which are when we building our test plan, or even building any scope, pretty much, it's bad prioritization, of these processes, or even worse, which might be if we skip one of the critical processes. So just imagine that we just missed one of the critical processes, and there was some issue in there which could cost quite a lot of money for the organization. Right. So this is pretty much that. But what I would like to add, just to focus a bit more on negative testing. Why is that? Because when we customize our dynamics, we sometimes putting quite a lot of limits between. It might be in the process, just to not exceed something. Just simple example, and we need to test that if we can exceed something or we can just break some rules, right? Yeah. So I would like to add that this is pretty much a common issue because we mostly focus only on happy paths, but we should do something in negative testing. However, when it comes to executive automats, there maybe some more common mistakes might be like a bad structure in the project. So if you see the layout basically in executive automats, we should think twice before we creating that, because if it's created wrong pretty much on the beginning, it can cause a bit of hassle, I would say, on just the work which is not needed, just to move the things around later on. So we need to focus on pretty much on how many environments we're gonna work here, how many users we're gonna use, if we're testing rollouts with different entities, So so we should pretty much include that in project and sub-projects. Also, about the naming conventions.
Yes, please.
This is this might be a bit confusion, because let's say we're creating some test plan in a DevOps, like high level on the very beginning, but in executive automats we calling that different, so it might give a headache for the new person who might be not familiar with the DevOps test cases, but got these test cases on a plate in executive automats. So that creates quite confusion later on if we So that's pretty much example. Maybe I'll show my screen for a while.
Okay, yeah, here, let me give you a little bit of a control here. One moment, I got you. There we go. I think that shares your screen. Yeah, now you can see the...
Yeah, so this is our test environment. So the mess in here is quite intended, but
Yeah.
I would like to say...
Let me stop, actually. Imagine if you did not do things well when it comes to organization and structure of the project, you might end up with something that looks like this. And if you have somebody who is new coming in, or anybody actually, they're going to see that and they have no idea what this means. And so that's actually a good example. Again, this is our test environment. There's just all kinds of junk in there, but that highlights your point, kind of.
Yeah, but how the executive automates can improve our regression testing in terms of now, like if we're going to use, for example, scheduler, yeah. When our scope is pretty much, let's say, ready, I've got some small chart of some like simple couple of the scripts grouped, obviously, yeah. So if we want to, let's say we divide some regression testing into the modules, yeah. So we can create the schedulers which will mirror those modules, yeah. So let's say it's going to be accounts payable or receivable, yeah. So we can put in this pretty much simple view, like here, all of the IDs of the scripts, and we can run them or in sequential mode or parallel, let's say overnight, just to not create any unnecessary overload of the system during the day, yeah, because we know that other tester can test manually in Dynamics, or consultant can use that for some reason, yeah. But when it comes to the like more sophisticated scheduler, yeah, we can group actually our scripts, and we can create some dependencies. Yeah, so we just want some processes to run first, and later on, yeah,
maybe them are creating data or prerequisites.
Yeah, this is like, so this is how the schedulers actually, they are, I would say, abused, yeah, by our customers and us as well. Moreover, I could show maybe something about integration with DevOps, like quickly overview, yeah. When it comes to the, let's say, this is my small test project, yeah, I've got, I wanted to export a couple of the scripts which were ready, yeah, so I've done it. And I can see them here in DevOps. Moreover, I can see them if what was the last execution, yeah. So, for example, we got like 2 from accounts payable, yeah, and we can check what was the last results. There are even more functions to cover that, like some rules, yeah, or you can, or we can change some even the settings just to mark them as they were working on, for example, different environment or iteration. Yeah. So here also interesting thing is that when we have, this is pretty much our last run, and what we got. Hold on a second. Okay, we got it. We have documentation. Yeah, we can create documentation from the run, and we can download it, which is pretty much transparent and can be used even for some learning session as well, if somebody needs to get some knowledge of the process. We can about documentation a bit later, but we have all the details pretty much. What we have there, which script was run, who was the owner, on which environment, and in which project or sub-project, and also which virtual user. Yeah. However, when we click the documentation, we're able to download it. Yeah. So then we're gonna have pretty much a PDF file. I'm not sure if I'll be able to show it.
I think we'd have to load it up.
Okay, but this is the documentation is pretty much it's all right. Yeah, so we can have it in the DevOps when we integrate that, and when we run for example, scheduler or whole project, including of creation documentation. We can create also video.
Yeah.
So,
like you mentioned, this can be used like for onboarding material
as well,
for training your new employees. But also, like one thing that's critical is we have a lot of customers who are in highly regulated industries. Maybe it's defense industry or pharmaceutical industry, something like this. They very often show regulars how it is has been tested, and so this is also very critical for those companies to be able to do that. I think probably Wojtek has a little bit that he can add about this. We won't jump to that right now. I'll let you finish what you were talking about, but I think that's another key part that we can talk about when it comes to documentation as well. I wanted to see a little bit about executing projects and sub-projects.
Oh yeah, basically we can do that. Even if I'll select my whole project here, so I can select which I want to run. Yes, so we have such a thing like statuses to run. We can set up to run only on published script. Yes, or we and then we also integrate with DevOps only published scripts. So because this one we need to tag scripts. There's few statuses. Because it might be draft or ready for review, or in progress, but only published. For example, in this case, can be integrated, or it can be run as a whole project. So we can just quick action here, and we can schedule execution just right now. We can choose the run mode, which will be pretty much sequential parallel, but we can also do that in scheduler. So if you want to just run it now, we can schedule it now. We can check our history. For example, in here, let's check this one. And we see the history in here of our last run. We have pretty much all the information here, how long it was running, when it was run, and even if we switch on to generate screens, we are able to basically see what was going to happen. What was happening in the system when our script was running. So if the script will go wrong, we can easily just check what went wrong and maintain it. Regarding documentation, like I said, we can have documentation and we can have also video documentation, which will be basically video of the whole process.
Right. Yeah. Nice. And I think, Wojtek, when it comes to like creation of documentation and video, I believe you had something to add there with regards to EA for Discovery and how that can help. Is there something that you can elaborate a little bit on that?
Of course, thank you. So Discovery is also able to create a documentation. We are focusing on a little bit different angles. So we created the documentation with the help of Azure AI. So the main focus is to create a documentation with the specific step and the process description to help new employees to get through the onboarding process. So you have context of every step created by AI that gives you information just like you would be a new employee in the organization. So we can also of course entail screenshots through all the steps that are pointed here. And with that, onboarding process can be much easier in your organization. Moreover, we have also conclusions and observations part where you can just read about the process summary, key observations, and also what is very important, potential optimization areas. So AI is analyzing the steps of the particular user, and it tells you that these are the main areas that you should focus on if you want to improve your process. So is, for example, it is focusing on manual repetitions, filtering, sorting, tab switching, manual data entry. So with that, you are able to optimize your processes, and also from the performance point of view, you have pointed here all the technical data that is important. So the time of the steps, the client time, the server time. So you are able also to point the steps that take too long, and try to find a reason and a solution to adjust your performance of the specific steps, specific areas in your dynamics. Yeah. So thank you for that.
Is AI, and it passively, so first of all, Discovery will passively watch what's happening in the Dynamics system, and then it'll use some AI here to generate some business context behind what is actually happening, not just click this button, but why click this button type of situation. Yeah, nice.
Yes.
Yeah, very good. I really like that. Marek, we've got a few minutes left here. One thing I would really like to see is kind of how things have worked out practically. So we have many customers around the world who are working with executive automation testing, with executive automation for discovery as well. So maybe just give us one little social proof example as to what we've seen and how this stuff actually helps in the real world. Yeah.
Well, so we have the one partner which we are working actually from a couple of years, and they had scope around 300 processes. Yeah. So with our QA team, we were able to automate 90% of that scope.
Nice.
Just roughly like 270 processes.
Yeah.
So basically, that's a vast majority. I'm not saying that the rest of the cases are not possible to automate, but the client said that he prefers to just test manually. Yeah.
They're a little more maybe complex or variable or something like this.
Well, if they are possible to automate, they might need some more further analysis. Yeah, but the client just said they prefer that manual way. Yeah. There are some like multiple integrations, but and pretty much that's a lot. We're still working, and with our QA, we're reporting and running them, still executing them. So the cooperation is still like very good, and they are actually and they're using the scheduler. They mostly. So everything is in the schedulers and running overnight. So again, it's not causing any extra load in the environment during the day, right?
It's not taking time away from their consultants.
So that's pretty much.
Yeah, that saves a lot of time actually. And I know throughout my time working in this area, finding the time of people and getting them to buy into actually doing any type of testing is always difficult. And then relying on whether or not they are doing the testing well enough or doing what they should be doing is also difficult. And so it's really nice whenever you have these things automated that it's happening because the computer's not going to lie to you, right? So, not saying that anybody's SMEs or anything like that ever say they tested and did not, but it has happened probably in the history of the world.
Maybe. Maybe we could like summarize everything.
So I think that now that we've got here, we're going to of course go to a Q&A and let you guys ask some questions for Marek and Wojtek to answer. But going back and kind of summarizing what's happening here is in the testing world, there's Microsoft has in Dynamics world, Microsoft has the one version release schedule. Of course, there are also other things that you're doing in your company, integrations. You might have new developments, things like that. And so you need to make sure that integrated into your entire testing plan, you have all of the schedule integrated in there, not just one version release schedule, but also anything else that you're doing to your system. You need to make sure that that's factored in. The next thing is there are different kinds of tests, right?
Yeah,
And so there's smoke tests, sanity tests, regression tests.
they
and-
are all included. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and also you just to remember that to focus a bit more on negative testing as well. It's quite important as well.
yeah,
Because yeah, like I said, we're not trying to fetch only bugs. Yeah,
Yep.
just our setup needs to be stable and works as intended.
yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much what else we can sum up. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that covers it. Actually, is so one of the big problems and one of the big issues that we've seen when it comes to testing is finding time of the people who know what the processes look like. It's not just about getting your test plan in order, but then also having the team around it to also do it. The discovery tool, EA for Discovery, definitely helps out with that aspect of it as well. And so I think that about covers everything. Talking about today, yeah.
Jacob, maybe if we have some couple of minutes now here, so we can discuss this news that is threading from Microsoft. About this news that Microsoft has announced on November 1st that all users without assigned licenses will be blocked. Yeah, this is kind of something that had a great impact on our clients. Yes, this is true, of course, and this comes with the huge change about how we see the roles, the licenses, and the cost of the license, of course. So our application Discovery can help to solve that problem, and with that gives you additional benefits. So you can tailor the roles and assign proper licenses to them. This is very important now because we have a lot of feedback from our customers that they are struggling with the information that comes from LCS or from the PPAC, that they roles are not aligned with the licenses. So we Discovery, or basically the part of the Discovery that is called EA for user security governance, covers that and gives you unique opportunity to solve this problem and to optimize your license cost, because we are creating role automatically in 5 minutes time. So and this role will be suited for your the specific license. So we are solving this problem of our customers and solving the problem of licenses. And with that, we are able to also to optimize the cost. From our experience, we can say that there are many roles in many users in environments of our clients that are using, let's say, 5% of the privileges. So it's a small chunk of their privileges. So mostly our clients are overpaying for the license of the users. So this could be a great time to make some changes in this area, especially that Microsoft has announced this news about changing the costs of the roles and attaching the role to the specific license. So basically, I think that it's important right now on Dynamics Role. You're muted, guys.
no, we are not.
Yeah, now you are.
There we go. That's better. Yeah, I was saying, and so that's coming in November when Microsoft is implementing that, tying the role to the process situation. Yeah, so nice. All right. Yeah, thanks for adding that. All right, I think we've got probably 5-10 minutes left, right, Margaret?
Yeah. We got any
hop over
questions?
here to chat and see if there's any questions. You can, of course, add these questions into the comments section. We can answer those. But as you guys know, also we're available. You can reach out to us and ask us questions personally as well. So. Let's take a few minutes and see if any questions.
Yeah. Okay. So we pretty much summed up everything. You think there is something else worth to mention maybe when we can start when we start our journey with automation or with
Yeah,
building?
maybe talk about that. Actually, it's not a bad thing to mention. You built a test plan. Maybe you've used EA for discovery to help identify what is critical that you need to test.
Yeah.
What do you do then? Like, all right, we know what we should test. We've got manual people testing it manually. Once we get to automation, what do we do?
So like you said, yeah, then we need to mind about one version updates. Yeah.
Mhm.
So this pretty much can roughly decides when we're supposed to test, actually run them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Moving from manual to automation.
Yeah. So yeah, but one version. Yeah. When we decide for automation, we need to have some scope prepared already. Yeah, and we need to have QA team, which will be working together with SMEs to carry that process. Yeah. So basically, yeah, that's an idea. What else we can say about this?
Maintenance is another big thing when it comes to the test cases, because you do need to maintain them, and not just maintain like the data and the settings and things like that, but your test cases, your processes, they change over time. Yeah. And so it's not just you automate a process and then that's it forever. You have to make sure that it stays up to date.
Also about the data, yeah, we need to make sure that we have database refresh quite frequently. Yeah. So we need to, like, for example, with executive automates, we can use Excel file to fill the data in the scripts. Yeah. And we can use such a functionality like global Excels as well. Yeah. So then we don't need to change the data in particular script, but let's say if the one module it's based on the pretty much same data set. Yeah. And when it comes to the for example, some changes in the system, like database refresh, and we have new set of system, we just need to fill up the Excel file with the new data and over upload that to the Dynamics, and the fresh data will be used in the older scripts. Yeah.
No. We've got a question here as well. We've got a question here. So does the automatically generated video from the script, let me show this on the screen so everybody can see it. Does it include the menu and module selection sections at the beginning, or does it jump straight to the page? I'm guessing this is for executive automats for testing when you're in there. The generated video from the script include that menu, or does it just jump right into that particular module? It'll include everything, right? Like, so anything that you done and recorded.
Yeah, that should be. But executive automats, it's when we're recording, when we're going to when we're trying to get to the position where we want to be in a module, let's say like all purchase orders or somewhere else. Yeah, it's recorded in executives as a one step. So it's usually jumping straight away from the dashboard to that place. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So yeah, so we should get straight away to that part of the system.
Good. And guys, you're talking about automating the test scripts. I'll add that I believe that Discovery also can help with that, because with Discovery you can also see all the new business patterns that are executed in your system. So for example, if you have, let's say, new modification that was created in your dynamics, usually you can just skip that and just overlook this kind of situation. And with discovery, you can see it on the patterns list. Yeah, that something new has emerged, and it should be considered to be created as a test script for regression testing.
Yeah.
You don't want to leave anything out, especially whenever you're doing regression testing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but sometimes with the bigger updates, some things might change. Yes, sometimes we just maybe the small maintenance is needed because, for example, the application might not catch some change. Well, I'm not saying that if we have some customizations, yeah. So if we have some new update and even the fields are changing, yeah, sometimes we need to maintain and just record some new step which will find that field which was just moved somewhere else on the web page. Yeah, so
Right.
Of course, in that case, you can also search for a newest execution of the same pattern. Yeah, so
that's what I mean. Yeah, that's that where actually it can help. But yeah, maintenance is sometimes needed anyway. Like I said, even with to insert new data. However, I think it's even possible to automate that as well. All right.
I don't see any other questions here. Well, we've got a few minutes left, so we can hang around if anybody else has any questions. We're definitely happy to explore those a little bit.
And
If not, then
I think we can slowly finish, right?
yeah, I think we'll wait another minute or so and see if there's any other questions. And if not, then pop off.
There are no any questions about your sunburn.
Yeah, this light is very flattering. I've been to the beach. So. And of course, we're going to have a second webinar coming up next week, I believe. Yeah, is it next week? Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to be involved in that. So.
Yeah, it'll be me and Pavel. And, we'll be continuing the discussion about this.
I think that will be some fresh information as well.
Yeah.
So, guys, I believe that there are no other questions, so we can just end. And thank you all for joining us here. And for see you soon.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining, and reach out to us, and hope to see everybody next week as well. Same time, same place, different people, according to Mare.
Well, you're going to be the same.
Yeah, it'll be me. I'll be the same person. All right. Thanks everybody.
So, thanks. Bye. Take care.
Thank you.